Practice. I want to talk about practice. Not a game, practice. Not when you're out on the line, you're out with your teammates, you're formed up, everyone expects you to get your questions right, everybody's getting in step, everyone's beats, footsteps, taps, weapon movements are all in sync. I'm talking about practice. Everybody, Episode 7. Let's all fall in. Let's get this thing going. Before we get into Jackson, I want to bring up, obviously, practice. Why it's so important. And I don't mean practice in the sense of you as the individual. I want to talk about practice of your involvement in your team and why it's so important. Because trust is built through repetition. A championship team, a good team, a trustworthy team, not even just about the wins, just your team being trustworthy amongst each other isn't made when everyone knows their own part. It's made when everybody trusts the persons to the left and to the right of them. Practice builds confidence in your teammates so there are no surprises when it matters most. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When you're practicing with your team, it's not that individual that makes that team. It's everybody as a whole. Because if that individual has a skill level that's rise so high that it almost seems like it's unachievable to touch, what is that individual doing? Not necessarily to lower their skills, but to bring everybody up that next notch. Championships are not built on trust, and trust is built through practice. Keep those things in mind, right? Trust is built through practice. And like I said, it's not about the individual. Individual talent doesn't beat the team chemistry. The most talented individuals don't always win. Teams can communicate, move together, and understand each other's timing consistently will outperform groups more than individual talent. Like I said, everybody, you can have a substandard X. And if you have a knowledgeable team, they'll understand the boundary lines where you walk in and out of an inspection, you know your knowledge, you're confident, you look sharp, your uniform looks great, we're stepping in, we're locked tight. You go to regulation, get in step, form up. Every single move is with precision. You do color guard, you get your special 4-man team out there. They run through, uncase the colors. They present, they mark time, they get their wheels down. And we all look sharp here. You can have an okay average exhibition and you will still win in the top 3 every time, guaranteed. Because like I said, it's all about how you move as one. It's your chemistry. If you have an individual on the team that isn't willing to sub down to focus on what the team needs, then that individual is not a team player. The statement's true, people. There is no I in team. And this isn't a shot to the soloist, or this isn't an attack on the individual. But if we want success, and I want to know what you're doing to be successful, because at the end of this thing, it's not about you. I make that very clear to the drill team I coach. Take the individual out. This isn't about you. If you think it's about you, you're wrong. You're in the wrong team. Go sign up for an individual sport. You are a member of the team before you are a soloist. Before you're on the drill team, you're a student. I have to have faith and trust in that individual and to that student to make sure that they're doing their part in their schoolwork and their grades. So that way I can trust them to be out on the drill team floor. I would very much rather have a team rather than a soloist. I do not care for the soloist. I care for the team to make sure that they are successful. Consistency creates confidence. When every member repeats the same standard every day, performance becomes automatic. Confidence does not come from hoping you'll perform. It comes from knowing you're prepared. So what does that mean? That means every day, in and out. If you're practicing like you're performing, your competitive side, your competition side will be prepared. How are you using that practice time to take advantage of when you go out there and perform? If you're kind of lackadaisical, if you're kind of like, oh, just going through the motions, you don't want to be there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I get it, people. Senioritis is a thing. It's a horrible thing. It's a curse. None of us wants to touch it. None of us wants to be around it. But guess what? Our most experienced people are our seniors. And my seniors, if you're there listening, if you are going to do this thing, like I said just a moment ago, it's not about you. It's not about you. Think about it. This last year when I took the Silver Knights to nationals for the first time, I had 7 seniors, 1 freshman, 1 sophomore that were new to the team. So I had 9. My other 5 were juniors. So once again, this new year that they're going into is going to be a completely brand new year. And when we went to nationals, I told them all that this year is the bulk and the most talent that the school has ever had. And I told my seniors, and I've reminded them throughout the year, is, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? The first Sotomayor Silver Knights team to have ever gone to nationals. How do you want to be remembered? Because there's two things they were going to be remembered as. One was the team that finally took away a national title somewhere and had the most talent. Or two, the team that had the most opportunity and the most talent and walked away with nothing. It's all about your mindset, people. Don't allow senioritis to kill you. Don't allow it. Consistency, people. Practice reveals weakness before competition will ever do. Mistakes made in practice are opportunities to improve. Mistakes on the competition floor can end a competition right away. Good teams embrace practice because it's the safest place to fail and the best place to grow. You take advantage when you have it, and you utilize it. It's all about how you use your practice time, people, because if you are just going in there guns blazing and you're shooting from the hip, you're not going to walk away with anything. If you're having one practice a week or you're not using your time properly, of course you're not going to expect anything in return. But what are you doing to grow as a team? What are you doing to grow as you continue through this journey of this year? Because what you do is not easy, everybody. It is not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. But you are the very few people that are out there that get to be able to do this thing that embraces a military style, and you are more knowledgeable, more prepared, more than most recruits will go into the branches that they seek. When I went into the Marine Corps, I was already leaps and years ahead of some of these other guys. Granted, I was Air Force or JROTC. Going into the Marine Corps, it's night and day, but I knew drill. I knew how to study my knowledge. That's the stuff that made me that much more prepared to do this thing. Am I saying you got to do one after the other? In no way, shape, or form, no. But it helped me advance. And it's the practices that showed me that I was ready for the next step. It's the practices that I had from a competitive team that knew how to compete, that prepared me for my life after high school, that prepared me for the military. That was the route that I took. And last but not least, every practice will define the team's culture. Culture isn't built through speeches. That's not what I'm trying to do here. It's built through daily habits, showing up prepared, encouraging teammates, accepting good coaching, and giving maximum effort to create a standard that everybody begins to follow. Matt Windling said it best, is that if we can't have a well-organized team, and if we can't have a space where it's enjoyable, it's teachable, and everybody's having a good time, then there's no success in anything that we did then. Sure, it's great maybe if we won, but why are you going to do something that is miserable for you if you're not having any enjoyment out of it? This is a fun thing, everybody. This is fun. In my high school career, of course, it was stressful because, you're a part of one of those really big recognized teams. So of course they expect you to practice as you perform. But the culture and the team that we had was so tight knit that it made me want to continue to come. It made me want to be a part of something bigger than just myself. And I hope that you all can take that away, because the culture that you're able to bring to this thing, the culture that you're able to bring will help everybody rise to the occasion. If it's enjoyable for the individual, it'll be enjoyable for the team, and everybody will be more than happy to be there, and they'll be more than willing to sacrifice and work for everything they got to do to make sure that they are prepared, to make sure that everybody's ready. Your team won't rise to its goals. It will fall to the level of its daily habits. So like I said, people, make sure you start to create that culture for your team. Your team is going to be the extension of your family for God knows when. A few years back in San Antonio, they had the rodeo here, and there's some guys that I haven't seen in years, but I'll never forget their faces, right? And I had this guy on my team. His name was August Benz. We called him Boots for short, because this guy would, no matter what time or day, he always had boots on. Never did I see him wear any other shoe. I don't even think he owned tennis shoes, but we called him Boots. And I went to the rodeo in San Antonio, and I was walking the AT&T Center, and sure enough, I see this guy walking. He has two kids, and I'm peeking over, and I start wincing back and forth. I'm like, is that him? Is that him? And he recognizes me. I dropped everything. I think I had my wife and my kids with me. I left them behind, and I ran to this man and jumped in his arms, because it's just been so long. And he is such a great guy to be around that you embrace him when you got him. He's family. That's a brother. That's one of my Centurion brothers till the day I die. I will never forget that man. I will always look forward to seeing anybody of my team from my past. And I would hope that every single one of you that are on your team can have that same kind of relationship, that same kind of passion, that same kind of culture, that same kind of family takeaway from your team. But that all starts with practice, because you see your people every single day. So it is important to be sure that if you create the right kind of culture, everything will start to flow. You'll start to enjoy your time, I promise you. And when I think of practice, I think of everything that I had spoken with Jackson. I'll let you all down easy. Jackson and I talked for almost 2 hours. And I'm sure some of y'all would have no problem listening to me rant for 2 hours with Jackson, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it where I'm going to have to split into two. So everybody, stay tuned for episode 8, where it's the continuation of Jackson Rainwater. But everybody, when I spoke to Jackson, I learned so much from him and his philosophies. And I continue to understand more and more the more I talk to some of these guys, that it's about how it's the outlook and what you do in those practices that will get you to where your outcome is. If you're doing this thing and you're dreading it, maybe this isn't the hobby for you. You should be having fun doing this thing. It's important to keep that mindset. Jackson has these philosophies that all these other drillers have, and I understand why he is so important in the world of drill today. And there's a lot of surprises that he gave me talking to him, and I'm sure you'll find some of those just as surprising. But everybody, I want you all to keep in mind that Jackson has a mindset that I don't think that anyone can come anywhere near close to, at least nobody that I've met so far. And that's no hit to Matt Winling, Zyko, Alejandro, or Erica. It's not to any of those guys and girl, but he is something different, something special. And I can't be any more excited to have talked to him. I couldn't have been any more excited to give it all to you today. Everybody, without further ado, your 2018 high school national champion, your 2023 and 2024 world drill champion, and your 2026 world drill group champion, Jackson Blade Rainwater. Jackson, can you give everybody, which everybody already knows who the Rainwater brand is, but let everybody that doesn't know, that should be ashamed if they don't know who they are, a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jackson Blade Rainwater. That is my legal government name. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, born and raised. I attended Seneca High School. I graduated in 2018, and I am now a senior in college on my last semester at the University of Louisville, where I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree. My top 3 accomplishments, so one of them comes in December when I finally get out of college, is graduating with my degree and moving on into the workforce. I feel like it's been a long time coming for me. My second big accomplishment is being able to step back and see the influence that I've had on individuals in the drill space. Because if you would have told me 10 years ago in 2015, when I was first getting into this thing, that I would be in the position I am now, I'd think you're crazy. But I'm very thankful for everything that I've accomplished up until this point. And finally, the last thing that is quite personal for me is being able to be engaged to my wonderful fiance and getting married next July. I'm very excited to start my life and start a new chapter. And a fun fact about myself, I know if you all follow and you all have been looking at Andrew Katz when he graduated the Air Force Academy, the picture surfaced, but I've been in the Army National Guard going on 8 years in October. I know a lot of people didn't know that, and I've kind of tried to keep that separate from drill so kids don't think they have to join the military to be successful with drill.
That's awesome. That's a fun fact. I had no idea. If just looking at you from the outside in, I would have never even guessed that. That is super cool to know. So I appreciate you for your service.
I appreciate you for your service.
Jackson, before we start getting into the nitty gritty, I've had so many people message me over the last few days about like, man, that's so awesome. Your interview, Jackson Rainwater, he's great, blah, blah, blah. And Jackson, I will be the great white buffalo to have only ever seen you on YouTube, never actually been able to speak to you in person. You know, we're almost strangers, and I hope by the end of this, we are no longer strangers, more than acquaintances, and I hope that we are considerably friends. And I want to know is if you had a Mount Rushmore of your 4 top drillers, who would those 4 be?
It's a really good question. So I think you and I share one, Matthew Winling. He's been a great inspiration for me.
course.
in my drill career. A lot of the way that I drill comes from him. The cleanliness, the snap and pop, the power. Windling has it all, truly. He is one of the most well-rounded solo competitors to watch.
And he's such a humble guy.
Oh my gosh.
Like, after speaking to Matt Windling, when I finally had the opportunity, and never speaking to him before, right? Other than up to what I had previously, he is such a great guy. And I'm saying it this way, but I don't mean it the way I say it, is I hate how good of a guy he is, but I love how good of a guy is, if that makes sense. He's awesome. So I think that is a great number one.
That makes total sense. My relationship with Matt goes way back. He's truly an inspiration in everything that he does. The other two spots, I have to give it to him because they're from the hometown. Michael and Adam Wren, I have to give them. They've paved the way for Louisville drill. They've proved that people from Louisville, Kentucky, where some people think Kentucky is in the middle of nowhere, where we are riding around in horse carriages, they put us on the map in the beginning. So I have to give it to them. I've had the opportunity to drill with them a couple of times, and they are the most down-to-earth people that you'll ever meet. And both of them are Louisville firefighters. And so I feel like that goes without saying, being a firefighter, you're putting other people ahead of yourself, and you're sacrificing, and you're putting your life in danger every day. And those two are some people that should get more recognition than they do. They're nobody really talks about them anymore, but they are some of the coolest people you ever meet.
Shout out to the brothers.
Yeah. Shout out. The fourth spot, I don't know. I think I'll go with one. I think Constantine, the creator of NGA,
Ooh.
getting to meet him.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He didn't pave the way for me in Louisville. He paved the way for everyone in drill. Everyone today knows that the best setup is an NGA stock. No matter the internals, if you don't have an NGA stock, you don't have the best setup. And that comes from Constantine. He is up there for me. He definitely paved the way for where we are today, for you doing this podcast now. Without him, we would not be here, for sure.
Man, that is good. That totally derails and rearranges my Mount Rushmore, because I had Matt Windling, I had Rob Zyko, I had Adam Jupe and Constantine. Like, man, like that would probably be my four. And it is
all great choices. Zyko's the man.
Yeah.
I want him to be on it, but I have to give it to the people that paved the way for me here.
No, 100%. It's wild how big this world is. And the more and more I've done this, the more and more I've started to realize that if I could even be just a fraction of how much of an inspiration that those guys were, and guys like yourself, Jackson, I mean, let's call it for what it is. You are a very hot commodity in the drill world, and there are a lot of people who look up to you, and that's why I'm so excited to have you here, because I have a list of guys and girls that I want to reach out to get onto this platform, and to be able to have you on here finally with me and we're talking, it's next level. It's awesome. So having someone with your caliber, everything on here, it's sublime. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me. I think one of the big things that we kind of miss, like, it's cool that I'm a local celebrity in Daytona for a weekend. Like, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, I'm just a person. So I think one of the big things that I didn't get when I was younger and I was going to Daytona and I was just as a spectator watching and not competing, one of the big things is I felt like going up to people, they either didn't want to talk to me, didn't have the time of day, didn't put like talking and getting high school kids involved and getting them to want more of coming to Daytona and competing. So now that I'm in a position where I can take the time and hopefully make somebody's day by giving them 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long they want to stand there and talk to me, giving them that time so they can feel welcome when it comes to coming back to Worlds, when they see me again, when they see all the competitors they get to compete with. I think one thing that we were missing for a long time is the active line of communication with people that are graduating to come to Worlds. Because without that, sport will die. The Worlds will get smaller and smaller, and eventually they'll stop hosting it. So we want to get people involved. And I think I challenge you, and I challenge anybody listening, that has a platform to take that time and to get to talk to these high school kids, because it means more to them than a lot of us will ever know.
I think that's super well said. It seems like you and Matt Wendling have a lot of the same philosophy. And I think that's really great because, like you said, a weekend celebrity where not yourself, but I mean, there may be some other guys out there. I don't know who, because I've spoken to 6 people, 5 people. That's my extent of the world's experience, and not saying that yourself or anybody else out there is just full of themselves, or maybe they're too prideful to think that me taking the time to talk to this high schooler is beneath me, but just having that philosophy of, hey, like, I'm an open door. If you see me, I'm not doing anything, approach me, talk to me. I'm just like you. I put my pants on the same way every single day. So I love that, man. I think that's super awesome.
I think the one time that the talking with people got a little too far is it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. My phone started ringing. It woke me up. And I don't remember where the kid was from. I don't know how he got my phone number, but some kid called me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I think he might have been from Georgia, trying to ask me questions about drill. I took the time and I talked to him for like 10 minutes, but I did let him know, like, hey man, please don't call me ever again. This is kind of weird.
Everybody, let it be known, Jackson Rainwater is an open door, but there's a time limit there. So let's keep it office hours. Let's say
office hours,
morning to 4 in the afternoon.
The random phone call at 1 a.m. It definitely threw me to the roof. It was very strange.
Man, that's awesome. So, I mean, it's not awesome, but it's just hilarious, bro.
Yes, it's so funny.
All right. So, Jackson, I want to start diving into some of these questions. And like I said, you are a hot 2-day weekend celebrity in Daytona Beach. And I want to know that obviously you've won at every level of drill. You've won high school, solo, tandem, and now group. How has your definition of a great solo, quote unquote, great solo, changed from your high school championship to where you are today?
So this is a really good question. If you go back and watch the 2018 Nationals solo and you see my floor layout, I have used the same floor layout and the same exit sequence since high school, since 2018, since I won.
Every.
So I do the same thing. The only time that I changed it was my debut at Worlds, where I was stub, and it did not work out for me that well. But ever since, I've done pretty much like almost step for step the same floor layout and definitely the same exit. I've been doing the same report out exit for a very long time.
I mean, if the recipe's not broken, I mean, why fix it?
I agree. I keep telling myself that. I think I need to switch it up a little bit. Maybe a little switch up this year. We'll see. But over the years, a great solo is not, in my opinion, a great solo is not the one that wins. It's the one that you're happy with performing. So every solo that I've ever competed with, I build on, and I'll do it, and I'll do reps, and there'll be a point in that solo where I kind of pause and I tell myself, this doesn't flow that well. And so I rework that segment, and I rep solos until I like them. Once I like them, that to me is a great solo. Not copying somebody else's solo, not copying somebody that's won, but watching some of these guys that are coming up that are really great and seeing how they're doing it, but putting my own twist on it so that I like going out there to perform. I love the competition. I love getting to be in Daytona and getting to compete. I love that feeling. But if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, then it's not a great solo for me. I know other people have different views on that, but if you're not loving what you're putting out, it shows in the performance for sure.
Okay, that makes me feel more comfortable, because between Matt Wendling, Rob Zyko, Alejandro Polino, out of those 3 guys, they've said the exact same thing, that, it's all about the craft that you're making. You should be out there having fun. Do it for the crowd. All 3 guys have had just the exact same message put out there. And that's good to know, because I had so I reference him a lot. He's my now senior commander on my drill team. He placed 8th at Nationals this last year. It was his first time ever doing Nationals, and I thought he would take the 8th place a lot more personal. I thought he'd be more hurt from it, and I was so shocked, because at the end of it all, He was like, Mr. Edward, at the end of the day, honestly, he's like, my first time I made it to medals. I'm ranked now. He's like, that's a win in itself. And I was shocked. I stepped back. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, awesome. That's great. And he said the exact same thing, is that he made something that was his, that he was happy with, and he left it all out there. So it's good to know that I'm starting to find little similarities in all you champions out here. So that's really great to know.
I'll be honest. I've noticed this after I won in 23 for the first time. I've noticed that the closer you get to constantly placing in the top 5, the similar styles that everyone has. Like, if you look at this year, the top 3 all had very similar styles.
Yes, they did.
And like, that is a fault. The top 3 shouldn't have similar styles, but there's a recipe that you have to play for the judges, and it's playing for the scorecards for sure.
And I just learned recently that he just attended a solo downtown San Antonio for the I think it's the Drill University. I think they did a competition there, and one of the guys that performs at World broke it down for him how the scorecard goes, and was like, this is what this means, this is what that means. And he and I both had 2 completely different definitions of what that scorecard was. But they broke it down to where it's like, no, this is what it is. The both of us were like, oh, well, okay, great. Now that he's faulting back on what those definitions are, now I'm seeing that it's starting to look like a lot of those, like the top 3 soloists that just went down. And I told like my soloist, I was like, hey, dude, I was like, I understand that this is kind of the recipe to win. I was like, but be sure to continue to be yourself. Don't try to make something of yourself that you're not. Be you, stick with what you're confident in, and be the guy to break the barrier, bring back styles or make new moves that no one's seen before, and force the judges to be like, well, that's not what we're used to, but hey, that was something amazing. So I'm glad that you said that, because I think that's pretty important. That's pretty pivotal in a lot of guys, and how they need kind of the chemistry that they need to have with their solo, and kind of putting all the stuff together.
I just saw, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off track. I just saw a post on ID, and I've been following, I don't post anymore, but I've been following what people are posting. And this might be a hot take, but I think that you and I share this. I think the new generation of drill, they're seeing these guys that are so good and doing all of these tricks and doing them so clean. There's so many high schoolers right now that are leaps and bounds ahead of where I was in high school. But there's these new guys that are coming in that are like sophomores that are trying to copy what these people are doing, and they're not focusing on the fundamentals. So for competing at Worlds, the most important thing is making sure that you are catching the rifle at the exact angle. Making sure when you're stopping the rifle, it stops dead and it doesn't wiggle. Making sure that you're driving your heels into the marching surface. Making sure you're taking your full 30-inch steps. If you're going to pivot, making sure you pivot. And I feel like a lot of people now are moving away, or at least the new generation that's coming in is taking away the marching aspect and the sharp stops and focusing on a completely different, like, I'm going to throw this quint, whether I'm jumping to catch that quint. It doesn't matter. I'm throwing a quint. I think that a lot of people are focusing on tricks too heavy right now.
Right. And thank you. Because I've told my commander that, where I'm like, dude, look, I understand you need to widen your base so that way you're more stable. I was like, but stand at the position of attention. I was like, if you can do this move at the position of attention, or if you can catch it at the position of attention, you're already leaps and bounds ahead of others, because of course they have to, they may toss it one way, but they have to break their stance to catch it, or they have to widen their stance so that way they can catch it a different way. And I was like, no, if you can be precise, if you can have that precision on you, I was like, you're already leaps and bounds. I'm glad that you said that, because I wholeheartedly agree.
Definitely the progression of my drill at Worlds over the years, I am leaning now more heavily into I'm doing some tricks, nothing that's super hard, but I'm catching them clean. And I think that's what makes you stand out from somebody else. You're walking, you're going out there, you're doing the marching with your shoulders rolled back and your chest sticking out, going up to the drill area. You're walking the walk, and then when you compete, and you do the moves and you catch them clean and you do a perfect run through, you're talking the talk. I think there's there's a line that you need to look at when you're trying to create a solo to win. And I think a lot of people are overlooking that line by doing tricks that they may not be prepared for.
Exactly. And so staying on the topic of solos, obviously, other than our walkout when we do our solo, we've at the rest being broken, there's no need to fix it, right? But when you're building a new routine, I want to know if you should start with a move that you want to showcase, or do you start with the story that you want uh, the performance to tell? Or is it more like, you know what? I love this move. This is the move this is the climax I want to end on. How do you formulate your recipe for a solo?
So the hardest part for me personally, and some of my buddies around where I'm at in Louisville, the hardest part is the intro, is the getting from the corner of before you march on, getting from there to where you report in. So I usually, to be honest, I skip my intro and I go to the stance that I want to report in, whether that's at present arms, whether that's butt slam, left foot forward, standing there to report in, whatever I decide to do, I start from there and I build in segments from there. So like this past Daytona, I figured out what my flow segment was going to be before I knew anything else. So I built everything off the flow segment. I knew that at the start of my flow segment, the rifle had to be in a certain position. And so I would work backwards from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I mean, I know a lot of people, almost do a reverse where, maybe they have an ending and they work their way back. So
I just try to I try to not add so much that a judge, like, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but the lay person, the civilian, or in this case, the military guys, the military judges, they're not informed on what drill or rifle exhibition drill is. You and I know how hard moves can be. These judges don't. So when I build my routine, I try to build it with little spaces in between the harder moves so that these judges can physically see that these moves are harder than the littler moves that I'm doing throughout.
right. Yeah. And I hate bringing up Sean, but my commander, he's very talented, and he got judged on one of his solos where the judges told him, you move that weapon so well, and you make the weapon seem like it's light.
You make it look, this has been on my scorecards a lot.
Mhm.
You make it look too easy. And that's coming from judges that know what they're looking at.
Right, and it blows my mind because I'm like, really? Like, isn't that kind of the goal? Shouldn't
Same boat. I don't understand. I thought when I was building up and I was trying to get these moves to look easy, I thought that was the goal. Guess not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the line is on too easy versus too hard.
I right there with you, sister, because it blew my mind when I saw that. I was like, really? I was like, it's like you telling the quarterback that
His passes are too long.
Yeah, your passes are too long. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, really? Like that's what you're gonna tell me? Like I'm throwing the ball too far. Whatever.
I don't know. It's hard. It's a weird dynamic that's happening when judges are, because I think one of the big things, maybe you get this freshman kid that hasn't really drilled that much, that doesn't have the basics down, go out and compete. And then you have somebody like Sean, your soloist, that's been doing this for many years and has been practicing, and then goes out there right after that freshman kid. I can see where they would think like, this kid, it shouldn't be this easy to this kid. Like, this other kid was struggling with the rifle weight and this kid's throwing it up in the air, So like, I can see that standpoint, but I would be amazed at the kid with the same weight rifle. I don't know.
I completely get it. At the same time, it's also a little bogus. Hey, I mean, we only can do so much because we don't hold the power of the pen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So world drill is obviously changes from year to year. Obviously get those seniors that graduate and then they start entering in the worlds and everything. I want to know, how do you balance staying true to your style while evolving enough to stay ahead of the competition? And now that the secret's out that we've been walking out the same way, if anybody else hasn't caught that yet, but how do you continue to stay ahead, and how do you continue to practice to where you stay so competitive?
So I can answer the practice side. I'm glad that you said that. The practice side of high-level competition is reps. Going outside with your rifle and doing reps. I think some people don't do enough reps when they're going to compete. So my routine this past Daytona was set in January. And every day leading up until Daytona, I was doing reps. Rep after rep after rep. I would go outside, and my goal was to have 3 clean run-throughs every single day, school dependent. I put school above drill for sure, but getting reps. And then when Daytona gets closer, like the week or 2 weeks before when your time slots come out, I go outside around that time slot. Say it's 5 o'clock. I'm outside at 4:45, standing by, and at 5 o'clock, I'm stepping off to do a solo run through. And I'll do that every day leading up until Daytona.
That's awesome.
It is very important to do reps, because the more reps you do, the more times you run your solo, the easier it is to find your weak areas and the easier it is to strengthen them. I think not finding the weak areas where you could fumble is what leads to fumbles sometimes. Other times it's silly, stupid mistakes that you make, or the silly, stupid move that causes you to drop the rifle. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. But getting out and doing reps to train your body, and you said it in one of the previous podcasts, you talked about it, the ability to turn your brain off and go compete. I like turning my brain off to not focus on drill and to listen to the crowd. I feed off the crowd. When I do something that I know is going to be cool, having that intentional break and listening to the crowd and waiting until they're done before moving on to the next thing. I think the crowd involvement is very important, but that's a longer conversation for a different time.
And it's funny because I tell the boys before they go on to you have to turn off your brain, whatever dark place you got to go to, like you go there. That way, all it is now, it's muscle memory that takes over. And that crowd involvement, just the roar of the crowd when you know it's coming, and they feed off that and you feed off that, and the power. I know that's awesome. I know that's hot.
Hey, I do want to say, you too can feel that as well. You got to come back at some point. No driller ever truly retires.
And God, every time, I'm just like, I've been telling my team that I coach, yourself, the other drillers I talk to, they tell me the same thing. They're like, you gotta step back out. And on the drill pad Instagram, I'm putting videos of me just going outside and just sloppy practicing. And I have, I don't know if you know who Chris Haley is, but he's reached out to me a couple times and he's like, hey Ed, if you want to practice, he's like, I can help you dust off those cobwebs. I'm like, I know, maybe. We'll see. You gotta bring Chris Haley back with you. That'd be a cool, bringing both of you back at the same time, because he's been stepped back for a while. Oh no, I know it, and we've talked about it before.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know. We'll see. Chris,
to be honest, it sounds like you made up your mind. You're just not ready to admit that you've made up your mind.
We're not telling any secrets yet. We're not here for me, Jackson. We're here for you. And my next thing I want to ask is, what's something judges probably noticed that spectators completely missed during your championship level solo?
I think S&I made a smart decision. Remove the way I don't know if you're able to notice or if you've seen it, S&I blocks the metals round areas now, so you can't get right up on the boundary like you used to be able to.
Yep.
So I'm going to say back in the day, 3 years ago, they used to be able, in 23, they were allowed to be right up on it. And there was nothing that the audience missed that the judges would have seen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, what I think the judges see most of is the hand pins, the crisp, straight arms. The audience is so far away sometimes that they may not see that. The judges see the head snaps. The judges, I do this thing and I don't know how many people do it. I do this thing where I try to lock eyes with every judge that's judging me on the drill area. Some of them have dinged me points for it. Others love it. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I like doing my moves and locking eyes with them while spinning so they can see, like, this guy means business. He looked at me for that whole 15-second segment without blinking or looking away. I think the judges noticed that the crowd cannot see, even when they were up close. I love getting that connection with the judge so they can see that I've not only trained super hard, but I am wanting them to be involved in what's going on.
It's a power play. It's a power play. You master your craft so well, you should be able to showboat. You should be able to show off some. I'd be doing the exact same thing. If the moment I present in, the only person that I'm looking at is that judge, because I want them to know I'm here, I mean business, and it shows them that you're not scared neither. So I think that's an awesome power move. And you've competed against some of the best soloists in the world. Who has pushed you the hardest, and how did competing against them evaluate your own performance?
So I think this has to be a shout out to River City Drill. We are a group of people that love spinning fake guns with each other, where we were friends and we've been friends for many, many years. And so I think the thing that has pushed me to exceed the expectations that I set for myself is my team. We have younger guys coming in that are pushing. I don't want to say us older guys. I'm only 25. I'm not that old.
No.
But the people that have been on the team for a while, like they're pushing us to do these new tricks that they're learning, or pushing us to be as clean as them or sharper than them, while we're helping build them up and making their solos. I think the team aspect is really like you're dragging the people from the bottom up to the top with you to make them just as good, if not better. And with the competing against people that are better than you gives you the ability to grow. I think back in the first or the second, we got in an argument about this the other day. I think it was the second RCDC that we held in the firehouse. I didn't place where I thought I was going to place, but I got the highest out of all the high schoolers. And the people that beat me were the good people. So I took what the judges gave me, read their score sheets, and I watched the videos of the people that beat me, and I tweaked my routine based off the judges' critiques and the way that the people that placed higher than me performed to build a better routine for the next time I competed with those guys. So when somebody is better than you, it gives you a goal to set to beat them. And I think that's really important with drill, is if somebody, say I go out and compete and I get 9th, and the person in 8th place is just a little bit better than me, that gives me the drive to push myself to get that 8th place from that guy, to get the 7th place to win. I think it's a really big deal to have someone that you can set your eyes on and set some motivation to beat them. I had my own contender when I was in high school. I'm not going to name drop, but I had my own contender when I was in high school that I had my eyes on, where we were neck and neck with each other, and it was him or I that was going to win in high school, and I was fortunately the one that came on top.
So that's the underdog story for you. And I mean, you've been a champion. We've back-to-back titles. And eventually, every champion becomes the person that someone's trying to chase. How do you handle the pressure of defending your name instead of trying to make?
So I've thought about this a lot after high school. So I got to meet, I was able to meet a very influential Hawaiian driller at Nationals Drill Camp a few years ago. I'm not going to give dates. It was the year Conor McGregor broke his leg against Dustin.
Okay, yep.
So I was able to go and attend Nationals Drill Camp and be one of I forgot what my title was, platoon leader. I was in charge of the platoon teaching the kids. And he told me, this was 2 years after I won, he told me that I had done it and that I don't need to go any higher. I have my title, and that should be it for me, and to go out and push the boundaries of what drill can be. And I do eventually plan to do that, but it gave me the drive to train harder and to set my eyes on attempting to win worlds. I debuted, it didn't go too well. The next year I made medals. And I think the year after that, I had won. After winning, once you win, and I'm sure a lot of people that have won worlds can attest to this. Once you win, you are the guy at the top. You are the guy that everyone sets their eyes on to say, I'm going to beat him. I am thankfully at a point in my life where I'm not a hot-headed or a super high ego 20-year-old, 18-year-old like I used to be. I welcome competition. I don't see me placing third or placing second as losing, because the guys that are beating me are people that I've gotten to train with, I've gotten to know, and I've gotten to become really close friends with. Once you're at the top, you've made it. Like, quote unquote, you made it. So there's nothing else that you need to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got your title.
So after the first year, the pressure was on my back. And then after the second year in 24 winning again, the pressure was gone. I truly believe that now I've kind of done what I've wanted to do. Like, this isn't me saying I'm retiring, but this is me looking into different styles of drill. I think, like you were saying, it's time to shake things up, and I hope to do that at some point in the next few years where I'm able to train and give the time in. But the pressure now is gone. I love, like I was saying earlier, I love competition. I love competing against people. Whether I win, whether I get third, whether I get fifth, your placement is based off the performance, I think. I think sometimes it could be a little skewed, but that's how it is. Drill is such what's the word? It's so abstract that everyone has personal biases with the type of drill that they like. At this point, the pressure's gone. I just like competing. It's fun. It's fun to go to Daytona and see all of my buddies that I've known for 10 years. At that point, it's like my fiance says it best. Daytona for me is the same as when we go to Michigan for her family reunion. It's a family reunion for me. I get to see all the people that have had my back, that has watched me grown, that saw the first video that I posted when I was the chubby freshman throwing a TIC to being the person I am today. And it's very nice to be able to just go to Daytona, have a good time, meet new people, get people to love drill, to get them to come back, and then do it all over again the next year.
I think you did it, man. I'm not admitting it yet, but probably at the end of this. I think that is great. That is so well put. That is, you could put that in a book. It's all about just having fun and a good time, and talking to the legends like you and the champions that all you guys are. It seems like all the same lessons have been learned over the course of the years. And for everybody that's listening, take the time and have a good time and just have fun. Everybody loves to win. At the end of the day, you're stressed yourself out about just going out there and if you're having a stressful time, fun, you need to really be questioning yourselves how much fun you're really having.
If you're dreading taking the trip down to Daytona, you should not be going to Daytona. If you're dreading that trip, Daytona's fun. You're in Florida. I'm from Kentucky. The weather in Florida is so much nicer. So we go for a vacation, we go to have fun, and we get to hang out with our family. Truly. I mean, that's what it is. Every year since I've been going to Worlds, every year I have gotten to see people that I saw back in high school. And it's like seeing a new person over and over and over again, because you all are such a close family. And when you get to drilling and get into a team and get to meet people, I've joked about this with my fiance. I think I know someone in almost every state that if I needed to, I could message and have a place to stay for free. Like, I've joked about it, but I'm like 90% sure, because of Daytona and because of drill, I know somebody in almost every single state.
The family is
for sure.
Family. All right. Wrap it up. Episode 7. That's in the bag. Everybody, I appreciate you listening in. Like I told you earlier in the episode, I'm going to let you down easy early. So if you're looking forward to the next part, I'm going to push it out next week for episode 8. Make sure you tune in to continue to listen to Jackson's story and the lessons that we learned, and just more laughs and jokes and just philosophies of just how to be not just a better driller, but a better influence. So look forward to it. And everybody, let's close this thing out. Most people will never understand what it takes. The hours, the sacrifices, the bruises, the failures, all for a few minutes on a competition floor. This is a world where perfection isn't expected, it's demanded. A world of intense formations, razor-sharp movements, and thrilling tosses that leaves crowds speechless. The difference between a winner and a champion? A winner will practice until they get it right, but a champion will practice until they can't get it wrong. Yet, despite the talent, dedication, and passion, drill remains one of the most overlooked competitive activities in the nation. That changes here. That changes right here with you and me. This is where the stories are told. This is where the legends are remembered. This is where the future of drill is built. Everybody, I'm Edward Andrade. Welcome to the Drill Pad, the voice of the drill community and the home of champions. I'll tell you what, I don't know about y'all, but I love that closing. Maybe I'm biased because, I run this thing, but every time I say it or these guys say it and girls say it, I get super excited. Everybody, please, like I said, tune in for episode 8 next week. I want to thank every single one of y'all who are returning listeners. Anybody who's new, I welcome you. And I hope if this is the first one you checked out because it's Jackson, great. I hope you can go back and listen to the other few. Like I said, let's put this thing out there. Let's make the drill world different. Let's make it more mainstream. If you haven't looked at it yet, I put it out on my social media that I threw an idea about starting a drill pad tournament where it's bracket based, where you go up against somebody and you continuously level up the bracket as we go. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I want your ideas, whether you're interested in doing this or you think it's a bad idea or whatever the case may be. Let me know. I want to know. You can send it to me on email or Instagram, th3drillpad, th3drillpad. Everybody, I appreciate you listening again. Take care. You're all dismissed.